live. It's very annoying.
Someone.
Analytics.
Hi, we are late.
We're 2 minutes late.
Okay. Is anyone?
We're checking.
Checking.
We have 2 concurrent viewers. Hello,
Okay.
everybody. Drop a message in the
Hi.
chat if you see
Yes.
a nonsense.
We are 2 weeks off air, and now we are back.
Yeah.
So annoying everyone.
Yes. Participants. It's just us.
Oh, really? Oh
It's
my
so
god.
lame. Wait.
It's us.
Let me check if it's actually advanced audio properties.
But I thought you said there's
Okay,
two.
we have our usual high volume nonsense. Okay, that's very good. Analytics.
There's nobody. Okay, so let's just talk to ourselves.
That's kind of the point. No.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean we're kind of just using the live stream format in order to be able to film, like just to be very transparent. That's really it. I kind of just want to make sure. Can you zoom in the camera?
How? Like how? Can I move the camera itself over? Is that the zoom?
I guess you could. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's just chill out.
Oh.
Then you.
No, it's a exclusive interview.
Where are you going to be
You're
Where
solo.
you be sitting?
I'll sit here. Hi.
Can you? You need to be on the same distance as me. Yeah.
Do we have anybody? No.
No, it's fine. I think let's just work with this. Whoever's gonna be here is gonna be here. If not, you can just watch in the post hoc. Hello, everybody. The time now is 8:06 p.m. Singapore time plus 8 GMT. And welcome to NEVOX FM. Whoever is listening, whether you're listening during live or after the broadcast, NEVOX FM is a
What?
is a format under the observation pillar where we talk about the theories, the principles, and all the different things that go into a NEVOX session and NEVOX in general. And
It's actually our introduction medium under the book named Design for Belonging.
Yeah, in part, yes. Yeah, so today, can you please scoot to the middle? Yeah. Today it's just me. My name is Ken. I am the community curator here at NEVOX, which means that I curate the experiences that people go through in the sessions. I essentially function as the overall kind of like you could see me as like a CEO or a president or somebody's just who's in charge of the whole entire shebang. This is practically my full-time work. This is where I put my time and energy into a lot of the times. Yeah.
What? Okay, me.
Can you look at the camera instead, please?
I am known as Park in my community. So Park is the name of a character in Shakespeare's Midsummer Night's Dream. So it's like a persona of a mischievous fairy. So yeah, I am titled the community builder. So what I do is I bring to the I bring the ingredients to the community, which is essentially the people. So I talk to people in my line of work, I talk to people outside, and basically trying to let them see, or rather let them be aware of this little thing that we have started since last year. Yeah, Q3, Q4 last year, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think today's question, which is on our here on the bottom right of the screen, is why NEVOX. And today, essentially, we will be going through
the origin story
of NEVOX and our recent, just to kind of a roundup with our recent closure of Project Germinate with Ground Up Initiative. I think we will probably start off with why NEVOX.
Wait, before that, someone is missing. And are we not gonna do what is your mic today?
Okay, I guess you're not even using that as your mic. I think maybe you can just introduce a fun object.
Oh. You started to bark. Oh. Yes, so this is a toy we got from Kaiser's. And yeah, it's a Shiba Inu, my favorite breed of dogs, other than the Chihuahua, Pomeranian, and and what was that? What was that another word? What's that? Corgi. Yeah.
Yeah. For context, he used to have a pet Chihuahua, and a pet.
No, the Chihuahua is not mine.
Yeah, but effectively, he used to have a pet Chihuahua and a pet Pomeranian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. We just saw the ashes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were just rearranging his room. Yeah, I think
Okay, what?
Yeah, as in so we've been having here at NEVOX we have a soft toy fever.
Mm-hmm.
So we just there's a bunch of soft toys in all around our different spaces, and hopefully one of these days we'll have a session with plenty of soft toys. Soft toys form a little bit of foundation of Story Labs. I think before we actually talk about why NEVOX, we should talk about what NEVOX is. So at this 8:08 p.m. Let us talk about what NEVOX is. So NEVOX is a ground up movement, a ground up collective for to help create a more reflective Singapore through exploring our relationship with work through structured conversations and structured workshops.
Yep.
We do this primarily through our 5 pillars. The first pillar is narrative. We explore the story that we work and live in. And the second pillar is exchange. We exchange these stories and exchange our experiences with each other. And
Vitality.
The third pillar is V, vitality, where we explore our relationship to rest and how we can embody it. And then there's observation, where we aim to reflect Singapore's relationship to work back to itself. And finally, the fifth pillar, expansion, letter X, to help Singapore's overall capacity to hold space and do meaning practice as one does in NEVOX. So those are the 5 pillars of NEVOX, and those are what kind of help us structure the type of work that we do and how we do it. And the primary mode of work that we do here in NEVOX is called meaning practice. So a meaning practitioner is somebody who helps somebody structure or make sense of the different raw experiences that they have and help them process it into a cohesive story narrative such that they have a better understanding of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. He likes to talk about the structure. I like to talk about the spirit. So for NEVOX, to me, is more of like a need that arises because then I think the society has way too many workshops and coaches, everything out there, that we have no lack of access to knowledge about a lot of things. Like you basically could Google and or even ask ChatGPT and can find out almost everything. But then in the end itself, what is lacking is actually we even sitting with our thoughts and kind of like doing processing. And
do we have knowledge of ourselves?
Mm-hmm. Actually, from knowledge to understanding, I feel that there's always a distance.
Yeah.
And it's always about being able to reflect and kind of like ask yourself questions. And of course then a lot of times when it comes to being alone, a a lot of us, we have grown so afraid to face our own thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in the end, we kind of like just indulge ourselves, numb ourselves with entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah, brain rot entertainment.
Yeah, brain rot.
Yeah, and I think that is really because then some of the problems or questions are too big to answer. I mean, that's going to lead to why NEVOX, but yeah, I personally had an experience of not working for a good 2.5 years, 28 months to be exact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, I mean, we will talk about it further a little bit later on, as to, I mean, our own personal whys. Essentially, this. Sorry, I'm just when I'm seated, I just ate as well. So, essentially, a big part of what NEVOX aims to really do is to help
I would like to use a word. Actually, because I had a conversation with a friend today.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, I think we are either over ambitious or we are too afraid of being ambitious. And I think I would like to actually see a community of people who are willing to explore the middle way.
Yeah, it essentially what we aim to create, and all the spaces that we aim to have. You're getting off the frame. You're the one who decided to. I would go school. Yeah, so like what we really aim to have is a community of people who can come together and reflect and just hold space for having open questions in their lives, especially when it comes to work, because work is quite a central part of our identity in Singapore. Whenever you ask somebody, what do you do, especially here in Singapore, you always get the answer,
I'm an engineer.
Yeah, it's always something related to their work. It's not really about their hobbies, not really about their family or their friends, or like just being a person who's trying to navigate life. And so it kind of highlights that, especially a big part of the Singaporean narrative, which I think is largely true, is that we don't really have a lot of natural resources. And so the biggest selling point that we have in Singapore as Singaporeans is
human resources.
But that does also come with a cost. We've worked really hard to make ourselves a living. Our parents have worked. Heng Boon, for context, is Gen X, and I'm Gen Z. For context, many generations have worked on making Singapore prosperous, making Singapore livable, turning into from a tiny
fishing village.
Yeah, a tiny fishing village into this
prosperous city
that we live in.
A hub for financial.
Yeah, it's a hub for just many different things. We've worked really hard, but in making an economically viable and economically vibrant society, one has to ask what that it comes at a cost, and that cost often is meaning. We take the meaning in our relationship, meaning of life and our relationship to work for granted. I think it's great that we had the opportunity to work hard, and we should still work hard and work smart in making society livable, making the world a better place, and providing value to people. But at the same time, that must also come in context with our relationships to people, our relationships to the economy, our relationships to work, and our relationships ultimately to ourselves.
Yeah, I think is one important thing is that we are not saying that everything is bad from whatever we have right now. In fact, we are very thankful for a lot of the things that we have now, and I think what Henry or Ken was saying just now is basically then yes, all the hard work from the generations before us and our generations is what exactly gives us the privilege to have the chance to actually sit down and ask ourselves these questions. And then, of course, then the top reason that I hear why people are not doing so is because they are busy. But I do realize that busyness is kind of like a facade for them to actually avoid tackling these big questions, because then a lot of times you may not have an immediate answer, and the current society is such that we are very uncomfortable with having things uncertain. And we are very impatient. We want problems to be solved.
A lot of modern day problems just really arise from being in the gray area, having to be uncomfortable with the questions not being answered, and the very education system that has helped Singapore top the education charts. Education charts sounds like it's music.
The ranks.
Yeah, the ranks of all sorts of education metrics.
World-class university.
PISA and all of that. All of those different measures that have helped Singapore kind of thrive and succeed in the economic sphere really arises from being trained to know what the right answer is for a certain set of questions, certain constrained set of exam format. And that has really helped us get to where we are today, is really being able to systematize and standardize and get ourselves as a society to come together and teach ourselves and teach each other how to be able to answer the questions that needed to be answered. Whether it's standardization of processes, industrialization, transformation of major industries. But at the same time,
this got to be the most serious episode I've done.
Yeah.
NEVOX.
but at the same time, the big thing is that we've learned how to answer those questions. We've become very good at it. But now, the most difficult thing is to realize that the much deeper questions in life, in our relationships through everybody, cannot be answered like an exam question. It's not to say there's something wrong with standardized education. It's just that we need to equip ourselves with new skills.
Yeah, I just find that then, like what you mentioned, is like a standardized answer. So everyone seems to have just one interpretation of what success looks like.
Yeah.
And then in the end, it kind of like brings to the problem that then everyone is just so caught up with competing against each other. And I guess we are losing that thing everyone used to call the kampong spirit, as we kind of like, move into our high-rise HDB flats. We become more isolated.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think a big
Lonely.
crying.
Yeah.
Yeah, a big. Oh my God, the doggy. Okay. Let's have a coughing.
No, I will say.
Wait, let's just give some.
Okay, you can stop me by pressing.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, so yeah. So I think I think it's a good segue. Yeah, I think yeah. It's immensely lonely to be. I mean, it's the pain of success. Really, it's the pain of understanding and the pain of being able to perform, is to realize that there is something beyond performance. It's just that we have not equipped ourselves with the ability.
By the way, yeah, me crying is a is a trademark of NEVOX.
Yeah. Yeah, so we do hold space for all sorts of complex emotions, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually very happy that I am in this state whereby I'm free to express my emotions and I don't have to repress them. Because a lot of, I think, the big chunk of my life as a Gen X, we are so used to saying that you're tough, man, you don't cry.
Yeah.
And and I don't know. I think that's probably a sign of what we are showing, that we are perfectly psychologically safe. To do whatever shit you want.
Yeah, I mean, onto that, like just to honor your tears, and also the and also on just to talk about like rapid urbanization. I think Singapore has made leaps and strides in progress as a society towards modernization. We have a lot of comforts, and we have a lot of
We have people. I saw hearts coming out.
we have people.
Yes.
Where?
I have no idea, but I just saw
Are you
hearts popping out from
hallucinating?
that. No, I see that.
Oh, we have 5 viewers. It's the
Oh man, I thought I was just crying because then there's nobody.
Oh, there's a heart. Hi, Joey. Yeah, wait. Okay, yeah.
Yes, Joey has seen me cry in all her sessions that she has attended.
For context, I was the top chat was not showing anything, and I was not showing the viewer numbers. So yes, hi Joey. Yes. So I think a big part also is just to honor your tears. Society has progressed really quickly, and we've modernized and industrialized really quickly. But that also meant, in the past, that meant kind of rejecting the kampong and bringing ourselves into a form that's understandable by the international sphere. But at the same time, that also did mean losing a big part of the kampong spirit. I would say that, like, for those who are listening in and who are not from Singapore, a big part of it is really just, Singapore is actually quite a tightly packed city. We have public housing. We have HDB flats. 95 or something. Don't quote me on the numbers, but a good majority, more than a super majority of Singaporeans own their own house, and everybody's clothed, housed, and fed, and also in like high-rise buildings and crammed into each other. But I personally, like, as somebody who's 27, I find it extremely difficult to talk to the neighbor just beside me. I need some, like, we're going to Jeju, we're going to Korea, like, on Friday, and I need somebody to water my plants outside, and I find it extremely difficult to ask for such a favor.
Yeah, because it can come across as really transactional if you are just going to ask, and then the first thing is to ask for a favor. And yeah, and I think I agree with that. But the funny thing is, when I was a kid, it was so natural and so easy to play with the neighbors.
Yeah.
But as I grew up and all, it seems to be a little bit harder to even just talk to the neighbors. Yeah.
Yeah, a big part also of this, like, community building work that we want to do is that work can make people feel extremely isolated because you're just going to work and you're talking to the same people. And a lot of different people have different ideas when it comes to what work relationships are and what they should be. And when you want to draw those, I think those boundaries are great. Those boundaries with your colleagues are great. That makes you feel quite lonely. You can't, finding adult friends are extremely difficult to make. And part of this meeting practice is community, coming together and thinking about what has happened at work in your life, and taking a look at what that might mean for yourself through how other people also see the same exact issue. Okay. So that kind of communal space is something that we wish to instantiate every single workshop session. So
are we going to go to the origin story then? Or you have more to cover?
I think we can talk about, we can move on to, we've talked about a lot of what NEVOX and the context of, like, greater society, increased urbanization. And I think one more thing that I really want to talk about when it comes to this increasing urbanization is our one of our project sponsors, or at least the host of NEVOX's very first project Germinate, is Ground Up Initiative. So Ground Up Initiative is a
sustainability community situated about 5 to 10 minutes away from Khatib MRT
by walking. Yeah. And they essentially through farming their hearts, turning waste to build, and through preserving biodiversity, and working with the land together as a community aim to reconnect ourselves with nature and to each other. And a big part of our alignment with Ground Up Initiative, and a big part of why we decided to have our very first big project, big series of workshops as NEVOX, is because we felt that this wanting to revive and sustain the kampong spirit, that's why they call it a kampong campus in Singapore, in Khatib, is a big part of their work, and it's something that we are aligned with. Creating third spaces, coming together as a community. I think it's something that we wanted to tap on. We wanted to tap on that heritage. We wanted to tap on that lineage in order to be able to carry it's 18 years of work they've done. And it's 18 years of a community that they've built, and 18 years of practices that have trickled down into NEVOX through all of our different places. Just for context, our first session was in a public living room, and I would consider that a granddaughter space of a Ground Up Initiative through Forest School, which I am also training up to be a practitioner of, which is so there's
You're everywhere.
So there's so many different parts of this ecology that is aiming to just really revive the sense of community, the sense of kampong spirit in Singapore. And what we are doing as NEVOX is honoring that and continuing the work through structured, repeatable formats that can be taught and shared with people across the island. So I think you wanted to continue with something.
I just wanted to add something. So the reason then why I am so easily overwhelmed with feelings when we talk about isolation, we talk about all these things, is I think in that in those 2.5 years that I did not work, a lot of times is I had to sit alone with my feelings. And I'm very open to share that then I was diagnosed with both depression and ADHD. So that was really a tough period. I mean, despite the fact that I had the support of my family, who did not really pressure me to find new work, and of course I have Ken, I have his family who basically were they were just there for me. But I think it's still a lot of times I find myself very alone. And I mean, we all know that people who have depression, usually they feel like they're done with life, and they are just lost all hope. That they just feel that they are left all alone to face all these things. I think I start to see that in the workplace a lot, that there are people who really have to just have to suck it up, everything, and I think that then it's their responsibility and everything. Every time those few words will just trigger me and I start crying. Yes, I don't know. It's I think it's like people are kind of like how do I say that?
A big part of I would articulate from having talked to Heng Boon for a long while. Right? A big part of the why. Can you not get out of the shot? A big part of the why is for him is really that wanting to build a community, hence the community builder aspect of it, and also wanting to come together as one united people.
The we first. Actually, I was very glad that the Prime Minister actually highlighted that in last year's national rally, because I felt that that's really something that we as a society would need in the next phase of growth. Because we for the past few decades we are way too focused on being self-sufficient, being independent, and it's probably time we start to find the power of friendship.
A big funny running joke in Ground Up Initiative, since a lot of it is physical labor, is that to move something or to get something done, you have to do it through the power of friendship. And it is strange to build an adult community around the power of friendship, but it really that is it. That is what we want to do, is to be able to kind of connect people to each other and help people understand that they are not alone in their struggles with work. They're not alone in the struggles of trying to figure out what meaning is in the work that they do, the relationships that are affected by work, and the life that they live, that we spend 8+ hours a day, 40 hours a week or more at work, and it really structures a lot of our time. And so a big part of the why really is, why do we have this relationship, and how can we tend our relationship to work such that it's more healthy?
Yes, I think I feel that a lot of people would have developed a fatalistic how do I say
point of view,
perspective towards work. Like, they will be like, oh yeah, the workplace is a place that you cannot make friends. Then there's a lot of politics and all, but then it's safer to just stay quiet than just do what you need to do. And I think the concerning thing is that during my generation, we start off being hopeful, and then it kind of like we get jaded over the decades. But then with the Gen Zs, I am worried, because then even before they actually start working and during their internship, they are already telling people this. And I think this is something that we really need to at least broadcast some hope. But then the problem is, then if you actually have a lot of jaded people in the workplace, how are we going to broadcast hope to the younger generation? And
I think I probably will now, not probably, but I will talk about my why. A big part of me and Heng Boon were talking about NEVOX even before I resigned from my previous workplace. It's gonna be 1 year since I've tendered my resignation from my previous employer.
In a few weeks, right?
Yeah, in a few weeks, on the 23rd of June. A big part of my resignation journey, my resignation arc, I mean, to me, that tendering my resignation was a journey of grief, a journey of realizing that the workplace that I had helped create through my labor, by structuring their systems, building out accounting, HR, legal, helping them interpret so many different things. Even though for the first 3 years of my work there, I was also in university doing design school.
It felt like one person is doing like 3 to 4 people's work.
Yeah. A big part of that was processing what I had done. And I'm not sure whether this is the first time that I've articulated on NEVOX FM on YouTube that I resigned from my previous employer with a resignation artifact that was printed, bound, and sealed, containing 25,000 words. It was in legalistic prose and detailed as to how I hope to leave, the conditions in which I wish to leave, the conditions in which I worked through.
I want to interject, sorry. There's a very impressive piece of work, and I commended him on his technical writing.
Yeah. So it was technical writing detailing how I was employed, the conditions in which I wish to leave, the final contributions I wish to give to them, helping them do my exit letter and all the exit procedures, and an entire chapter dedicated to feedback on how I felt the workplace could have been run better. Mm-hmm. And that, to me, gathering all that information took roughly from, I believe, April of 2025 all the way until June 2025. And using ChatGPT, I wrote the book out, 25,000 words in 1.5 weeks through a psychiatrically an MC Institute issued by my psychiatrist for essentially burnout. So I had found myself around the late May 2025 doing a lot of work. My my done and to-do list would essentially amount to around 6 pages. 6 pages of work and decisions and micro decisions and all these different ways that I helped the company process the complexity of the outside world, and I essentially became a container for their chaos and helped them interpret it. There was a lot. I was exhausted, and there was a lot of meaning in the work. There was a lot of I enjoyed actually the work that I was doing, but the problem is that it was a lot of work all at the same time, and so I had become worn out.
And I think the big chunk of the problem is there was not much understanding from the people who led the company. It's like a lot of times I think burnout really comes from when then in the end you are competent, and but then what happens to you is you just get loaded even more.
Yeah, so a big part of it was I found my own sense of self-worth in providing the company value, in doing work for the company, and helping people structure the work in the company. But a big problem with that is that over the 4 years that I had been there, I had been doing all of a good amount of the interpretation work for the people who were supposed to lead the company. It really enriched my learning. It has enabled me to better understand the governance requirements for NEVOX, and a big part of what work is. It has given me a lot of insights, but at the same time, in doing that, I had deprived them of their learning, but at the same time, I also recognized that they enjoyed and they preferred the arrangement that way. One of the things that my previous employers said, articulated to me in April, was that my job was to make sure that my employer wanted to stay in the company, and that meant that it's not a great setup.
Actually, this one brings me to the point that a lot of times I realized that more people, or rather, after starting NEVOX and having all the conversations, a lot of people tend to shoulder more responsibility than actually need to.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, in doing that, it had shown me that my role in the company I've become the director. I've become the person processing the raw events. I had become the meaning practitioner in the company, helping interpret raw events and data and making it digestible for my employers to understand. And I had built up a skill set to be able to do that, in part because that's a core part of what design is interpreting the nonsense of clients and then making sense of it such that it's workable. And so I had applied a lot of what I learned in design school that I was learning at the same time to a corporate setting, into a corporate system, to HR, accounting, legal, IT systems, and all of that. But at the same time, it's very easy to forget that I am human. And a big part of essentially what happened was it was burnout.
Yeah.
I kind of want to.
I
want to continue my story. Yeah, and
he's gonna get angry.
Yeah. I just really wanted to. A big part of it is just I felt burnt out. A lot of responsibilities I had taken on, and a big part of it is also I think they didn't really know the full scope of my work. I didn't feel supported upwards. I also didn't feel like they were giving me resources to support downwards. I had initially planned on onboarding somebody on a full-time basis, but they wouldn't let me convert her into somebody I could train and have long-term. I wanted to build a runway for support. I wanted to build a runway for my own support. So essentially, nobody knew what I was doing above, nobody knew what I was doing below, and I was trapped. And I had reached a point where I couldn't learn anymore. It wasn't safe to learn. It wasn't safe to try. And so I audited the company on whether it was worth it to stay. And from the data I gathered from April all the way until June, after 20 working days, or around 20 working days, I essentially concluded that it was not worth it to stay. And that all that raw data I'd taken and processed it into that 25,000 word resignation book, which I then used to tender my resignation. A big part for me of why I wish to continue and help build NEVOX is because I don't want people to be put in a position where they would feel that they want to have some sort of revenge resignation fantasy, such that you're writing 25,000 words to resign. I don't want people to be in a position where they would feel that they have so many words trapped after 4 years of work. And so I wish for people to have these skills and these frameworks, and not just skills and frameworks, but the space and people and time, and just people who are willing to listen to what's happening in your life, and so that it doesn't build up into such an intense situation, and it becomes more manageable, it becomes less intense, it becomes something that you can narrate to yourself, and something that you can narrate in community, and not just in terms of therapy, not just in terms of coaching, although those things to me have really helped, but also a space where you can try out concepts, test out concepts on how you want to deal and relate to your work, such that you don't reach a point where you feel like you need to resign with a 25,000 word resignation document, and you don't feel like not working for 28 months.
I think last week we had a conversation which I really thought it was wise words, is that sometimes then when we don't voice out certain things that we feel, the resentment kind of like just builds within us, and it's like the resentment can sometimes then just manifest as then revenge, this kind of impulsive actions, and or if not, then sometimes people just find their health starts to suffer. I think there are people who like start to their health starts to deteriorate as they.
I mean, realistically, if I do take a look at my Apple Watch sleep statistics for that very same period, I think my sleep was horrendous, and now like I couldn't sleep. That was a problem. I think my stresses manifest as anxiety, so I don't get the ability to sleep very much.
And I want to add, so with not enough sleep, then he becomes even more short-tempered, and he kind of like just lashes out on people all around him. And I think this is also not that. I'm saying it's not just you alone. It's a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that work and the relationships at work had reached a point where I just felt like they were hopeless. I felt like they were at a point where they were irreconcilable. I mean, there was a lot of moral injury involved, and because of the nature of the work, and because of how they think how my employers thought the nature of work was, at least in my opinion. All of this is in my opinion, and it bred a lot of resentment in me, and a lot of resentment towards them. We did not leave. I did not end off my what is that called? My notice period. It didn't end off in very good terms. And a big part of that was really because I don't think we had established any sort of boundaries or any sort of common understanding of what work should be. I think, to be fair to them, I don't think they were necessarily equipped to be able to address these boundaries, which is also why I do the work that I do now, is so that society as a whole can start to have an understanding of how to navigate boundaries and navigate work and navigate their identity within and without work, and so that less and less people are put in a position where they're trying to navigate their relationship to their employer, and their employer is trying to navigate their relationship to work, and
usually it happens very late. It's either
Yeah.
you only get to do it after you get retrenched, and then you have no choice but to face yourself at home and your thoughts at home alone, or then if not, it's really just
After burnout and
Yes.
you resign.
Yep.
And we don't want things to get to that way. That very feeling that I get in the spaces that kind of descend from the Mother Tree Ground Up initiative is that there's a sense of openness, and there's a sense of coming together to interpret your experiences together, and that is really the mandate that NEVOX has, is to help propagate the number of trees that people could take shade under and kind of feel the kampong spirit again and feel more connected to the people in their lives and the people in society.
Yep.
And less more understanding, less resentment. And I really think it really just starts with I think it really starts with questions, having a space to ask questions and coming together to figure that out. And there's a lot of ancestral knowledge that we tap into, a lot of frameworks that we tap into, and we synthesize them together in our workshops. And yeah.
So yeah, maybe I can just do a roundup before we use the last 10 minutes to go what's after Germinate.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, actually then I find that somehow we need to redefine our relationship to work and also the relationships we have with people in the workplace. I think of course not everything is bad, and I believe most of us would have made friends in the workplace over the years, and I think that this is something that I really cherish. And I think that after returning back to work, it's also something that I kind of like enjoy, because since coming back, I think to put things short, the reason why I left is also I lost faith in how then the corporate systems is kind of like inciting competition, and I didn't have a solution to it. So coming back then, I thought then, okay, I'm out of the system itself, but no, I'm also inside the environment. But then in this case, I could choose to not allow myself to be like, be overtaken by then this ambitious drive, because I think I'm a person who really gets tempted very easily by then the ambitions. And I think then, okay, sorry, we are supposed to close. So I felt that communities can also start to form in the workplace if then you have people who are willing to do so.
Yeah. No, I mean it's definitely something that I want to be able to pay my facilitators. I want to be able to pay my facilitators, and that will become an employer-employee relationship. And we want to be able to model what a good workplace is, and it really starts when we're not paying them at this point. But yeah, as in, community can be made anywhere. I want to prove that community can be made anywhere, and
that's why we are profitable, right?
Yeah, I mean, at a workplace can become a community. It's not necessarily a family. I think that's a bit too much. A workplace is not necessarily a family, but it is a community, and communities have boundaries, and communities have spaces and processes in which you can negotiate these boundaries and determine these boundaries with each other. And
our special guest is gonna come.
And a big part of that is NEVOX is also a question in that. How do we model such a behavior, such a way of building community? And yeah, so I think that really comes into the next section, which is talking about what's beyond Project Germinate. I'm not gonna talk in specific yet because we're still waiting for approvals and ideas and stories. Not stories. Yeah, so the next phase of NEVOX, we did start from Ground Up Initiative, Kampong Campus, but I do believe that NEVOX needs to prove that it can be a portable third space, and that reflection is available and possible in all across the island, all across Singapore. And we are aiming to be able to do that in the next phase. We were aiming to be able to do that in the next phase of NEVOX, and we've applied for a grant with the SG Partnership Office under the seed tier. So with that, we aim to essentially bring our practice north, south, east, and west. And the space partners that we're looking at in the north is the Mother Space Ground Up Initiative. In the east, we're looking to do it with Common Ground, a civic center. And in the west, we're looking to do it at Jurong Lake Gardens, a more nature-based space as well. And in the south, or the central, we're hoping to do it with Casual Poet Library, where it's a casual, cozy reading space. And we aim to kind of bring our formats all throughout all these different spaces and introduce and test them and introduce them to new people. And hopefully they're much more accessible in being all these different places in different months. They're much more accessible to different people, because admittedly Khatib is quite north and quite far for a lot of different people. And we aim to ask the same type of questions, different types of questions that are relevant to our modern day condition as workers, and exploring together what our relationship to work can be. Yeah.
Okay.
What does okay mean?
Okay, so so I guess then in the month of June, we decided we will take it slow, so it might be a little bit less of us.
On the month of June, I think probably in the third or fourth week of June, we aim to host one workshop.
For interested facilitators, is it?
No.
Okay.
It'll be available to everybody in general. We're still deciding on the topic.
Okay.
And then we also aim to host maybe 1 or 2 in July as well. But June for myself and June for NEVOX will be a slower month. We are going for 1 week holiday to Korea.
Yes.
To Jeju Island.
And Seoul.
Yeah. And
to show support for a few students that we actually taught last year.
Yeah, we coached.
Yeah. Yes.
And I think a big part of what we... Is that...
What's
about? Yeah, so I mean we aim to June is a bit more of an interior month for ourselves. I am taking the time to reflect and mourn my
it's the anniversary, people trying to like more experience grief again.
I would wish to honor that feeling closely and intently, such that moving forward I can be clear as to what
is next,
what is grief, what is my grief, and how to separate that and how do I separate that from the decisions moving forward, and how do I use that grief to enrich our workshops and experiences moving forward. It's really about for myself an understanding of what is mine to hold and what can be shared. And the same goes with the collective as a whole. What are the boundaries we wish to have? What are the things we wish to achieve? And it's for me, it's a season of, as a community curator, a season of 1 to 2 year plan, quarterly plans, 5-year plans, 10-year plans for the collective. And I think I am at a point where I feel comfortable doing that. And I also wish to be able to provide for my community builder, because he's the one bringing in the money through his own work in the pharmaceutical industry as a quality assurance engineer. He's bringing in the money, and I am taking the grant, taking the co-foundation grant, and turning that into NEVOX work. And I also, the same goes with all my different facilitators, all the different members of the collective.
Yes. I think that's something that I really feel
Yeah.
grateful for. There are a lot of people showing us support along the way. It started off as a very crazy mission that we didn't thought that would happen, and then like 6-7 months down the road.
6-7.
I think it's kind of miraculous how far we've gone. Yeah. Are we going to bring our driver in, or we just
Yeah.
gonna leave it outside?
No.
Okay.
For
She's
context,
just-
the
she's
reason
not
why there's
ready.
there's like a dog that's one of the dogs was moving around because our community driver is right there.
Yeah.
She's taking a little bit of a break today. She just came back from work. So
Yeah,
yes.
she's camera shy today.
So yes.
Oh yeah, she has wet hair. She has a wet look. She don't want to show people in the wet look.
Yeah. So, and whoever's listening, I really thank you for taking
At
the
least
time.
say something.
I was the first listener.
yeah. And for those listening, I really want to thank you for listening in, and for NEVOX members, NEVOX facilitators, participants, contributors, whoever has made an impact along the way. I would really like to.
I'm not supposed to cry again.
I would really like to thank you for holding space for us and taking your energy and
time.
and contemplating the questions that I ask you, because a lot of these questions is me asking you the questions that we ask you,
Thank you, Joey.
and
Yeah.
holding space for that.
Yes.
And I hope to continue this work and to ask more questions, to ask the questions deeper, and to ask more people together questions about our relationship to work.
Okay.
Yeah. And
I guess, yeah.
that's I think that's it for today.
Yes, that's it for today.
Yeah. Right.
So, shall we sing a song? Since we're not allowed to play a song.
I know. Maybe wait.
Sing a song for
Singapore!
For every generation,
we
there's
are
more.
forevermore.
Come on and sing a song for Singapore.
I heard it say.
Hey, we don't have
that
the license for that.
people- What? No? What? I thought you say as long as we sing it's okay.
I don't know.
Oh,
But
okay.
I'm just messing around. Yeah. So yeah.
I have been changed for good.
Wicked.
Oh my god. Everyone's gonna leave.
Okay.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for listening.
Yes, despite we changed off the date. Yeah. Thank you. Bye bye. See you around.